Bitcoin. Bitcoin is poking below the 50-day moving average for a second time over the last couple of weeks. So let's see what's going on here. Welcome to myfinancesteacher.org, where we do like to look at asset price cycles. Talking about the Bitcoin price cycles, usually they last for about a couple of months, going back to the pandemic and the previous years before that as well. I've been talking about Bitcoin for a few years already. And we see cycles lasting for a couple of months, often with the cycle tops above the 50-day moving average and the cycle lows below the 50-day moving average, unless the 50-day moving average is very steep, in which case just a retest of it might be enough. In the ongoing cycle, the 50-day moving average is somewhat steep, so perhaps only a retest might be enough for our cycle low. Perhaps a bit of a symmetrical triangle, which Bitcoin seems to be forming at the moment, might be sort of enough for a cycle low in terms of a consolidation sideways. Again, that is a possibility that would give us a symmetrical triangle, which are usually a continuation pattern. And in this case, as Bitcoin has been rising since early March, a continuation pattern would be higher prices towards 32,000 and above. But I think what's more likely is a more discernible cycle low, perhaps over the next couple of weeks, before a new cycle can start with a rally. After all, even a continued contagion between the US banks, with the First Republic Bank failing over the last 1 or 2 days, which perhaps has contributed to this all-time high in a number of Bitcoin transactions per day, which are close to 680,000 transactions as of yesterday, which is about 80% higher compared to the previous top all the way in early 2019. So there seems to be quite a lot of movement, but at least so far yesterday, it only gave us an insignificantly small green candle on Bitcoin. So with all of that movement in crypto industry, there are probably more sellers at the moment than buyers. Hence, a decline down into the cycle low, perhaps over the next couple of weeks, is probably more likely than just a sideways consolidation. Plus, such a decline would bring us somewhere close to the average cycle duration of perhaps around a couple of months, maybe sometime into mid-May, before a new cycle can start. Talking about the levels, if you throw in these Fibonacci retracement numbers, one of the levels that just jumps at you, and perhaps with many market participants looking at the same thing, this might turn out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, is this 50% Fibonacci retracement, which aligns well with the top of the previous cycle. That's somewhere around $25,000. And while talking about the levels, I and the members at myfinancesteacher.org were lucky enough to reduce our position in cryptos slightly, just a little, right at the top over here, with a limit order at the price of 31,000 for Bitcoin and a somewhat corresponding price on Ethereum. Again, all of my trades are over here in the model portfolio. Next, let's have a look at a couple of market sentiment indicators, with the first being Crypto Fear and Greed Index, which usually drops to somewhere around below 40 for cycle lows. The previous cycle low over here came with a level of 33. The recent drop in this Fear and Greed Index in late April came to the level of 50. So again, if history repeats, if history rhymes, we'll probably see another correction down in Bitcoin price and this Fear and Greed Index dropping below the level of 40. If you zoom out and look at the history in, let's say, 2021, near the height of that bull market, even then, these short-term daily cycle lows on Bitcoin, 2-month cycles, produced cycle lows with this Fear and Greed Index at least at the level of 40, perhaps sometimes below that. And similarly, looking at another indicator of market sentiment, Bitcoin Optimism Index, where due to high volatility, I like to look at this 10-day moving average of this Bitcoin Optimism Index, the green solid line at the bottom. Usually, the cycle lows, at least since the beginning of 2022, came with this 10-day moving average of the Bitcoin Optics, somewhere close to the level of 30. With the exception perhaps in late December last year over here, where this Optimism Index only came down to high 30s at this very modest cycle decline over here at the end of December, followed by a bit of a New Year present with a relatively strong rally. Additionally, even looking at this bull market in 2021, it's not often that we see cycle lows that don't at least test the lower range of the Bollinger Bands. In the ongoing cycle, yes, we saw a bit of a test coming close to poking below the Bollinger Bands in late April, but if history repeats or if history rhymes, we'll likely see another poke below these Bollinger Bands before the ongoing cycle ends with a cycle low. And again, that's perhaps over the next couple of weeks to bring us to the usual duration of these cycles. And in the meantime, while waiting, check us out at myfinancesteacher.org, where we discuss a range of assets, including different commodities, cryptos, energy, uranium is quite interesting at the moment, the general stock market, and of course, precious metals. Lastly, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button and share this video with your friends. Have a nice day. Bye bye.